All right, it's your boy D back on another video on You Can Be Free. I got my brother Jamie with us tonight. He's going to be sharing a powerful testimony. I met this brother about, I think it was 2 years ago, like right when I first came to Florida, and he's a barber in Florida, and he was giving me a cut one day, and we was just talking and talking and talking and talking. He said something that I actually have said in not this video, but in other videos before. And me and him was actually just talking about our conversation that we had the first day we met. And so that's kind of like what got him a setup to come up on You Can Be Free. But I'm just going to pass the mic to my brother. He's going to tell y'all his story. You can start from any place in your life where you want to. It's all you.
Yeah, man. So basically, I'm 32. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm from South Florida. So pretty much most of my life, I grew up as a foster child. Um, I knew my mother. I lived with my mother, but majority majority of my story kind of starts from foster care. I grew up with a mother who was a gambling addict. Um, so that so that really skewed her priorities, so to speak. She wasn't she wasn't a alcohol or drug addict, you know what I mean, but still an addict nonetheless, to where it interfered with a lot of her priorities, like I said. Um, Outside of that, man, I'm a father of two. I got one on the way right now. I've been married about 12 years. Um, yeah, man, that's pretty much that's like the crux of my story in 10 seconds.
Got you. So what was it like? Like, I know you said you ended up in foster care, right?
Yeah.
So what age did that happen and how did that happen?
Um, I first went into foster care, I believe I was 5. And it was me and my I'm the oldest of 8. So it was me and my brother who's a year younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother had a friend at the time, and my mom had a friend, and this lady, she also had 2 children who were younger than me and my brother. So they had to been at least 3. And yeah, my mom and her, of course, being young, if I was 5, I was born when my mom was 17. So my mom was probably 22, 23. So the part that got me sent to foster care was my mom and this woman had ended up going out to the casino or something that night, and they ended up leaving me and my brother and the other 2 children home alone. So so long story short, somehow the door got unlocked and all 4 of us little kids was playing in the breezeway. You know how the apartments had the little walkway?
Yep.
And yeah, so all of us was playing in there. And yeah, I guess one of the neighbors came by and had seen all 4 of us out there with the door open, and there's no parents there. And I vaguely remember the other 2 kids being in diapers still. And I think what caused the concern was seeing 4 kids and 2 of them being in diapers, just running around going crazy, basically outside with no supervision. So once they went to look in the apartment, saw nobody was there. Of course, they called the police, and the DCF came out, you know, and that kind of got it started.
And what age was you at this time?
I was 5, about
So from
5.
5 to what time were you without your parents?
Uh, I would say from 5 till about pretty much pretty much I turned 18. Um, I did live with my mother. Like, I would go from foster care. I'd go to some placement, whether that was like a foster home or a group home or a holding center.
Hmm.
Um, I'd be there for like a year or two, maybe three, and then I go back with my mom for a year, and then somehow, man, I'd end up right back in the system pretty much until I turned 18.
Was that now? I have not like I don't like talking to people about things that are very uncomfortable. I kind of let them talk. But you was like, man, whatever you want to ask me, So you kind
Yeah.
of just must like, you was cool with it. But I heard, not through people I've known, just stuff that I've just seen, interviews on TV, movies, and stuff like that. Was that a good experience for you to be in foster care? Like, did you end up in a good home, or was that a bad experience?
So I only was in a actual foster home, like with a family,
Mm-hmm.
the first time. So that was from about probably 5 to about 7.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was with a great family, man. So looking back now, I could see how fortunate I was that I got placed with them, you know? I got placed with a great Christian family. Um from the jump, man, it wasn't just me and my brother who they took in. Right around the same time that me and my brother got placed, they also had took in two other brothers as well. So they had four foster kids in one home.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they were strict, boy, they were strict. They did not really, man, they didn't bend on their values, man. Like I couldn't I couldn't even watch like Spider-Man. Like back then, bro, Saturday mornings, it's like you
Right,
wake
right.
up, you got your cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
and this family was so strict, bro, so deep in their faith, man. If it wasn't Veggie Tales, you wasn't watching nothing,
So
you know?
look, after 7, did you go back to your mom?
Yeah, my mom got custody of us back.
Okay, okay. So all right, we can just jump right into it because I'm gonna make a separate video talking about how men, a lot of men, especially that I'm in, having talks and encounters with, are dealing with like midlife crisis. Most of it is about they're dealing with stuff that has they're not really happy about how things are now, but some of this goes back to things that happen in their childhood because they feel like they would be further of certain if certain things would have came out differently. And you was telling me about a situation that happened in your life, and once you got peace with that situation, it just didn't have no power over you, and then it was life changing for you. Can you talk about that situation and how you came into the peace with the situation?
Yeah, so the situation was I believe the one I told you about was when I was about 16. So I was in a group home, and at this group home, I was fortunate that me and three of my younger siblings, we were all able to, so we were all able for us to be have the same placement, right? So we were in this group home together, and so in this group home, my mother was she was scheduled for a visit one day, and she just never showed. So for me, it didn't really bother me because so I kind of knew the type of person my mother was, like I was saying. So what bothered me was the the three siblings I had there. One of them was my brother, who's a year younger than me, and then I had two other siblings who I believe were like 6 and 7 at the time, something like that. And I just remember, like, I remember we were all in this one, we're all in this waiting room where essentially we were just waiting on my mom to walk in, man, and she never did. So on top of her just not showing, she never called. She never like sent an email. She didn't call the group home. She didn't call our case manager. Nothing. She just legitimately was like a no show. And I remember sitting there like looking at my little brothers and sisters playing around while we're waiting. And then eventually once it became known she probably wasn't coming, we had to walk back to our homes where we were staying, and I just remembered the look of hurt from my two younger siblings, you know,
Yep.
and I remember going back to my room, and it bothered me. It bothered me a lot for a few days. How it just seemed that like she just didn't care to see her own kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So me at the time, I was probably 16, 17. So I kind of knew how my mother was as a person at this point in my life. So I didn't really hold much to it except my younger siblings. They don't even know like why we're not living with mom. You know what I'm saying? So then to like have their hopes up that they're gonna get to see mom, it just kind of bothered me the with the disappointment for them, you know? So after about two, three, 2 or 3 days, man, I just remember I was sitting in my room, I was laying there, and I just had this revelation of like nobody can really make someone else care. You know what I'm saying? So I remember laying there and I'm like, man, if my mom wanted to see her kids, she would have she would have seen her kids. Like she would have done something, man. If she had to walk, she would have walked. If she needed a taxi or if she needed to hop on a city bus, like she would have made it happen. And pretty much I think that situation, man, really it really jump started me a lot moving forward emotionally because it really freed me from from carrying the burden, so to speak, for other people's actions. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it really took the weight off of me.
So with other people who has been through similar situations, they've dealt with different things. And I don't know if this is played in your life, but if it is, we can talk about it. If not, it's cool too. But certain people that had issues like that growing up when it comes to their mom, or it may be their dad, they deal with issues of rejection, or they deal with issues of addiction, or they just have a wall up against people where they don't trust people because they don't want to get too close. Have any of these struggles been an issue in your life? And if it has been an issue, like how have you dealt with that?
Um, Not those same issues like to the same degree, but like I would say I would say in like similar circumstances, I would say yes, but like I
Can you
said
talk
before,
about
I'm
which
not.
one? Like which one?
So I've dealt with the addiction one, except it wasn't really as severe because my mom never drank, she never smoked, she never did drugs. She just had this high of like gambling,
Gambling,
like
right?
yeah. So like the thrill of the win, she couldn't like she couldn't she couldn't manage it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So so I kind of had it easy within that respect because I had friends in foster care whose parents were drug addicts and they were sexually abused and they were physically abused and I had some points in my life where I was definitely physically abused um and somehow bro by the grace of God dude I just never been I just never had that trait man that held on to resentment you know
Mm-hmm.
because again, I'm not one to really linger on the burden of someone else's inaction, you know. So yeah, man, I've gone through it, man, and for the people who can't seem to let it go, man, I would
Yeah,
just
talk
say,
about that because there are
yeah,
people who, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted you to
you
kind of elaborate on that because there are people that they're dealing with addiction, but the root of the addiction is because they can't let it go. They can't find peace with it, and they can't find forgiveness to their parents. So
yeah,
yeah, if you could talk about that a little bit.
yeah. If you're going through that, man, I would just say, I would I would just say one, you're never the cause of someone else's problems. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone else is dealing with an addiction and you're the victim of it, man, it's never because of you. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't really I wouldn't I wouldn't hold the burden of that over myself personally. Um I would just say it sucks to go through it, man, and when you're going through it, it seems like it's only happening to you, and I get it, man, but it never is. Um so yeah, I would genuinely just say, man, like I would say pray about it. I would say pray through it, and I think the most important part I would say for that would be if you are the victim of it, I would say forgive the people who's hurting you through it, even if it's not physical. Like even if it's a parent who's a drug addict and you want them to stop so badly, man, I would just say set yourself free from bearing responsibility for their actions. That's that was a big thing for me, man. Once I sat there in that bed that night, man, and I realized I can't make my mother want to see her kids. That was such a crux for me because it took the burden of her inaction off of me, you know?
Hmm.
And it literally I remember I wasn't crying except I would sit there in bed some nights and I would just get teary-eyed, you know?
Right.
Just because it bothered me so much that my mother she just she just chose not to show. And I asked her about it later on in life, man, and she she could never give me an answer on why she never came, except except because I freed myself from her and I forgave her for it. Me asking her was more of a rhetorical because I really didn't need an answer,
Right.
you know. Um,
Do you think it would have made a difference though?
no, not for me because again, like I said, I'd already forgiven her, man. I had already accepted she's a grown woman, man. She's gonna make her choices, right, right, wrong, or indifferent. If I agree with it, she's an adult, you know.
That is powerful because that kind of goes accepting uh accepting people in life for just the way that it is. Like, because like you said, we cannot change people. We can pray for them, but we can't change people. With Mother's Day just passing, and then we got Father's Day, coming up. What advice could you give for people that are maybe in similar situations, or if they just have lost, a parent, whether it be a father or a mother, or, and I know I'm giving a lot of scenarios, but it's going to be different people in different situations who see these videos. But basically, I think like with me, losing my mom is different than your situation, but at the same time, it's not because I went a lot of Mother Days where my mom wasn't around. Now, I've done videos where I talked about that stuff. So just what is your perspective on that? Like, what has helped you over the years, get through these days when you see the world celebrating something that you can't or that we can't celebrate?
Yeah. So first of all, to start, so I still have a relationship with my mother right now. I probably should have led with that. We're not like motherly sonly in
Mm-hmm.
that sense. Like we're not your typical relationship, except I still call my mother. We still talk at least once a week. She calls to speak to my kids and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we do have like a sort of relationship. I can't really speak on or speak to the people who have lost a mother because I just I can't fathom it yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the and also too, so for me, so part of that too is me and my mother were never close like that anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like my whole childhood, when I did live with my mom, whether it was the third or fourth time she got custody of us back, she still had that tie to the casino, you know what I mean? So she literally would just leave us with whoever she could get to watch us, you know? So me being the oldest of eight, So even though we had like a quote babysitter there, so I was still the one who was parenting my siblings in a way, you know. Um so yeah, I never had that real real tight relationship with my mother like that. And then my
Mm-hmm.
father, I never met him. Um my mother has no idea who he is either.
Mm-hmm.
So so I'm the product of a one night stand. But the only advice I can say, man, is if you're hurting and going through it, man, I would just say draw near to the Lord, man. He's a good father, you know?
How has God been a
He's
part of
a
your life, helping you get through these situations? Because like you are a peaceful man. Like you just like the times that I've talked to you, the times, you know, that I've been around you. Even the last time we went out to eat, when you had bought me breakfast not that long ago, like you just carry so much peace with you. And I can't really explain that, but I'm a person that feels things. I can feel evil demons on people, and I can feel God, and I can feel peace, and that's what I felt when I got around you. So how has God, you know, been a part of your life and just helping you get through some things that could lead some people into bad places in life?
yeah, man. I tell people all the time, bro. I got this gift, bro, to where like it's almost like I can't hold a grudge, right? Like say me and you are super tight, we're brothers, right? If you did something to me and someone else was there, someone else might sit there and take that as like someone else could have taken offense on my behalf towards you, right?
Right, right.
Except I wouldn't, right? So my mind would start questioning like maybe he just had a bad date. I don't I don't know if he almost got in a car accident on the way here. I don't know if he lost his job today. He didn't tell me. Like I don't take nothing to heart within the same ways that most people would process disrespect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So so I don't really hold grudges against people. It's almost like I can't because I'll always find some reason. I'll think of some question in my head to where I can almost justify it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So um so yeah, there's that, man. I feel like I've been given that gift my whole life, you know? And so part of that too has been a big help with my mother, you know, because I know my mother's situation with her father. Her father wasn't around. I think my mom only met her father like twice in her whole life, and he lived like 2 miles down the road from her. So he didn't really want nothing to do with her. So I know that had an effect on her. And my mom also had me when she was 17, but she got pregnant at 13, and my grandma had forced her to get an abortion. So I know that really messed with her mentally too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So so my mother's relationship with me, I never, as hurtful as it was at times, I never processed it as her not loving me. You know?
That's
So
good you can give people grace like that, man, because I used to be a hothead back in the day. And I would fight. And those traits are not in my heart. But sometimes I'll still be thinking when people say something, I'll be like, are they trying to be funny? You know, like I was big on respect, and in some ways I am now. I don't take it to heart because I'm just not that person I used to be, and I got too much to lose now. But my mindset hasn't been fully healed from all the violence that I've seen, and even the violent type person that was in me. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Um, so that's good that you like that. So pray that that gift be up on me, because that is a that's a blessing to be able to, you know, look at situations. And that's something I will say now. You know, when I'm in situations with people, I try to think why this is the reason why they did that, you know, and it's not always the way that they seem, because sometimes we can look through the lens of pain and from the past and stuff like that. So the fact that you're not like that, that's a major blessing. Um,
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
closing,
but hey,
man, go ahead, go
so
ahead, go
there's
ahead.
like So if you want to grow in this regard, bro, so there's like small practical ways from my own experience that I've learned on how you can practice this, right? One of the
Speak
ones I
on.
told my wife was whenever we went out to eat, at some point, bro, you're gonna have a waiter who you just feel is kind of being rude, you know?
Hey, Jamie, you might want to be
Now,
still.
whether
The more
they're
when you're
purposely
moving
being
around,
rude,
hey, hold on. You're going in and out. Your connection is bad. I think it's becomes you're moving around. All right, so you good now. Can you
okay, let me
start
go back to
over?
my house. Hold on.
All right.
Yeah, okay. So one of the practical ways I was saying for you, if you want to if you want to work on this, would be like, say you go out to eat, right? You're gonna have these times where you feel like the waiter is just kind of rude. You just feel like she's kind of off. She's not refilling your drinks a little bit, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the easiest ways to grow, and I tell my wife this, but we don't know if she's being rude just because she's rude. She could have had a horrible table before us. She could have been, she could have clocked in at 9 this morning and it's 8 p.m. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
So we don't know the circumstance. She could just be tired. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how she treated us, I'm still gonna tip her good. You know? I don't
right,
know if this is her only job. I don't know if she's a single mom working doubles. You know? So like we can literally like start with small fractions of ways that we can give grace, and then those kind of help grow essentially. So those plant the seeds to grow with the people around us.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's easier to forgive someone we don't know than it is someone in our own circle.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like small ways, bro. Just like a big oak tree starts out as a seed, bro. You know?
Right, right. In closing, man, you got any final remarks for someone that may see this or anything that God is putting on your heart right now?
Yeah, man. I would just say one. I would say read this book called Breathe by Hickson Gracie. If anyone knows anything about jujitsu, he's one of the Gracie family members. He wrote a book called Breathe, and essentially he explains how certain breathing techniques, how they can help with stress management, how they can help with emotional and mental stress, how they can help with focus. I would say read that book. I would say learn how to breathe properly. Um, and then also I would say, man, it's never whatever whatever you're going through, bro. It's never as bad as it seems. You know,
Amen.
I can say that from experience, bro. Like it's never as bad as being Jesus, knowing he's about to carry that cross up that hill. You know?
What about the book that you told me about? I actually got that from somebody else, but I wasn't able to give it to him so because something happened. So I kept that book. That I can't even think of the name of it. The
Which
book
one?
that As a Man Thinketh. Who was that by?
Oh, that's by I want to say Arnold Allen.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you're a barber, man. Let people know if they want to get a fly cut where they can find you at there. And then you also got an event coming up. Talk about that.
Yeah, I'm a barber in Lutz, um, here in Tampa, Florida. So if you want to schedule with me, my Instagram is at Jamie number two Live, Jamie two live. Um, so you can send me a DM on there. That's pretty much the easiest way to get in touch with me without me like giving my number out. And yeah, I got a charity boxing event coming up in Wesley Chapel here on July 29th. It's not your typical boxing event. It's actually a have you seen the rise of quote unquote like social media boxing
I
where all
haven't
these like
I haven't even
YouTubers
been
are
on
boxing
social
now?
media. I haven't.
Oh, so that's like a new wave right now. All these social media guys are starting to boxing, da da da. But what I'm doing is not only do I got some social media guys, I got a bunch of entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? So we're putting on that event, man. We're raising money for charity. We got I think we just made tickets available today, actually. So if you go to efcboxing.com, you can purchase tickets there, get all your information. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good night. We're gonna bless a lot of people going forward. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what's up, man. I'm looking forward to it too. Hey, send me a reminder on that because I'll be forgetting stuff, man. But I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for every word of encouragement that you shared, man. I know you could be doing anything else, and I apologize. We was actually supposed to do this yesterday and I had something come up, but I just want to end this video like I always do. No matter if you can relate to his situation or you just may be dealing with something that you don't have peace with, because the word that he spoke to me that blessed me is that if you're dealing with something in your life, how he basically was just showing me that if there's something that I'm depressed about, or if there's something I have anxiety about, it's because I haven't made peace with it. And once we make peace with it and we accept it, that's when deliverance comes. He didn't use it in those words. The way he said it was perfect, but it really did bless me. And I think about that a lot, and I apply that to different situations now. And so no matter what you're going through, as I always say, you can be free, because who the Son has set free is free indeed. I love y'all, and we are out.